Let's go next to Dylan from Georgia. Dylan from Georgia, welcome to the program. What's on your mind today? Dylan from Georgia, you were on, but you've got to select the correct audio device.
Hey, David, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Cool. Last time I was on, we had it sounded like a robot was speaking. I don't know if you remember that.
Well, that happens with a lot of callers, I have to admit.
Yeah. Well, I've been a member for a while, and it's great to talk to you. I just had kind of two questions. The first one was, I don't know how much research you've done into it, but what are your thoughts on the Willow project being approved in Alaska? And kind of how does that make you feel with the contrast of all of Joe Biden's promises about, trying to combat the climate crisis and more electric cars and tax incentives for electric, when I read that I think the Willow project would produce the equivalent of 2 million gas-powered cars.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much you read about that.
So here, I have a bunch
thoughts.
of articles bookmarked to read, and the insanity on Twitter this week made it so I didn't get to. From the little I've read so far, I'm very concerned about it. I want to learn more, and maybe next week I'll do like more of a deep dive segment on it. But I'm certainly quite concerned about it from the little I've read so far.
Yeah. It concerned me a lot too. And I've been reading a lot of, I don't know if you know who Nate Higgins is, but he has a smaller YouTube channel about what he calls, I guess, the meta crisis, which is just this feeling that everybody has that something is wrong and we don't quite know how to address it. He does a good job of kind of consolidating that, but he just mostly talks about the climate stuff in the sense that, we need a cultural change, not necessarily making things more efficient. And even the drive to try to make things efficient as quickly as we would need to,
right,
in order to combat this stuff is almost counterproductive because of the things that we would use to construct all of these green technologies rely on fossil fuels. And also, it's a cultural shift that we have to make. And, I guess it starts at the individual level. I try to cycle, but that's pretty much all I can do at this point is just cut back as best I can.
And I'm sure you're not flushing your toilet 10 to 15 times, which I'm sure helps.
I'm trying, I'm at 8 right now. I'm really trying to get down to 5.
That would be good. But, if we could only flush only 5 times, it'd be better. Yeah, I just made a note about Nate Higgins. The content seems interesting. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thanks, David.
All right, Dylan from Georgia, great to hear from you.